That's kind of something when you look into the healthcare sector that concerns me a little bit. And you know, their Amgen is the biotech company out of this group, so they're spending a lot of money trying to get you know, their pharmaceuticals running and get into a lot of debt. So that's something that concerned me definitely. Here I looked at the EB, you know, the earnings before interest, taxes, etc., into interest expense, which was key for me when I'm dealing with a loan of that magnitude over a long period of time. Once again, at Amgen, there was no data on Amgen, so which tells me they obviously did report it or they're in the negative. I kind of looked it up in Google and couldn't find nothing from there as well. So they completely just, I was wiped out with Amgen as far as loaning them over the long term. This felt too risky for me. As you can see, the others are kind of in the same ballgame. And basically, when I'm looking at the interest ratio, that basically means they have enough money to cover, you know, enough money to sustain their interest expenses so over the duration. So we're looking at 15 years, well, you can round it up, 10 years, 16, 14, and 8 years. So I'm looking back for my money in 5 years. This is very, very important for me. I also looked at adjusted return on equity. Obviously, this is one that a lot of people were not looking at, but basically, this is what creating more income for each dollar that the stockholder equity has. And what that means is it's basically higher returns. If you see Amgen is obviously up there, but you know, all those other things involved, it scared me away. You know, it's a very, very risky move. And you know, like I said, I don't want to risk. I want a competitive advantage, as the great my uncle Warren Buffett used to say. That's what I look for. You know, they may be getting a lot of money, but hey, you know, you never know if they're going to be here or they're going to be able to pay their bills. So the winners of the 5-year loan, I selected Pfizer. They're safe. They were able to cover their interest payments, and they also have a decent competitive advantage with the interest expense. Basically, I looked at the ebb to the interest expense, and that's what I used even with my personal portfolio for looking at for companies with that competitive advantage. And I've seen that obviously Pfizer has been around and it has like a decent stronghold in the healthcare sector, and they're going to be around probably for another 100 years. You know, barring some type of situation, you know. So it was the safe pick, so that's what I went. Cardinal Health was second, even though, like I said before, with the pharmaceutical things going on and whatnot, I still felt like they had a solid debt ratio and they had to interest was decent. And that was something I want. Obviously, they have a kind of a stronghold in that pharmaceutical sector, so I was impressed with that. So I chose them for second place. Who would I buy? So I looked at a couple of different things. I wanted to look at some things that this is what I look at in my personal portfolio. I try to be different. It's not really different. Everybody have access to these, obviously, but these are the ones that I really, really like to look at. And the 5-year return on equity is another one of those competitive advantages things that I like. If you look at the 5-year return on equity, just looking to basically the future, you see Amgen obviously is up there. They're making a lot of money if everything goes right. You know, Pfizer is once again solid. You got Walgreens and you got Medtronic, which is kind of on the low side. So you know that definitely put them out of running for me, at least. Payout ratio. The payout ratio is the percentage of net income that a company pays out as dividends to common shareholders. This is something that I love. Dividends is my thing. I want you to pay me a dividend. When you pay dividend, you're saying that I deserve money and I like money. This is one thing I personally look for when I'm in my personal portfolio looking for things to buy. I want a company with a dividend. I follow Buffett. I like the strategy, the intelligent investor. So I'm looking for dividend companies. Amgen is obviously shockingly high, and that excites me. That excites me. Risky, but it still excites me. You can see Pfizer is the lowest because they're safe, they've been around, but I know Pfizer is going to pay me. I know they've been 1942, so I know that. Medtronic is also was surprising, even though they did not have the obviously the 5-year return on equity. they definitely were a decent payout ratio for me. Return on assets. This is obviously definitely a key for me. I want to know what the company is doing as far as return on assets. You see, Pfizer once again is a solid. Amgen worried lowest out of the group. So you know that they're not getting the return on the assets they're getting. I mean, and when you're dealing with a biotechnology company, that's the type of stuff you can expect. I like Pfizer in this situation. Obviously, 13 is huge. That's leading the back, and that really sets it apart. The 5-year growth revenue. I wanted to show this because Pfizer looks so delicious, and all things. I've been pumping it up, and I just want to show that Pfizer is an old company. There's not much growth happening there, so they're in a negative. Now, as far as growth, 50.053 is still not that bad for me, but that shows that's not a company that's really gonna blow it out the water. And you look at Amgen, they had a 5.73. Medtronic was surprisingly decent, even though, like I said, some things, they were here and there. So Amgen was surprisingly low for me as well, considering that the amount of being a biotechnology company. I would buy. So this is what I decided to do. I decided to go with Pfizer. Competitive advantage. They were safe. I decided to do the safe thing because I'm a safe investor. I want to keep my money. I want to know this company is going to be here in the long run, and I don't want to be too risky. But in my second place, I would get riskier. I would definitely choose. Like I said, let's get this money is a famous